Today I will discuss the magnetic field due to a current through a circular loop. We have so far observed the pattern of the magnetic field lines produced around a current carrying straight wire. Suppose this straight wire is bent in the form of a circular loop and current is passed through it. How would the magnetic field lines look like? We know that the magnetic field lines around the straight current carrying conductor is the circular loop. It means the magnetic field lines around the straight current carrying conductor is the magnetic field is in the form of the concentric circle around the straight conductor. We know that the magnetic field produced by a current carrying straight wire depends inversely on the distance from it. Depends inversely on the distance from it means if we move away from the wire, the magnetic field intensity decreases. Similarly, at every point of a current carrying circular loop, the concentric circles representing the magnetic field around it would become larger and larger as we move away from the wire. By the time we reach at the center of the circular loop, the arcs of these big circles would appear as straight lines. Every point on the wire carrying current would give rise to the magnetic field appearing as straight lines at the center of the loop. By applying the right hand rule means if we express the thumbs of the right hand in such a way that the thumb is in the direction of the current, so the curled fingers show the direction of the magnetic field. It is easy to check that every section of the wire contributes to the magnetic field lines in the same direction. So here the magnetic field to a current through a circular loop. In case of circular loop, the magnetic field near the boundary of the circular loop is in the concentric circle, and when we move toward the center, the arc of the circle decreases, and finally at the center of the circular coil the magnetic field is in the straight line shape. Now we know that the magnetic field produced by a current carrying wire at a given point depends directly on the current passing through it. Here we know that the magnetic field produced by a current carrying wire at a given point depends directly on the current passing through it. It means if you increase the intensity of the current, the magnetic field also increases. Therefore, if there is a circular coil having n turns, the field produced is n times as large as that produced by a single turn. It means if you increase the number of turns in the coil, so the magnetic field also increases. This is because the current in each circular turn has the same direction and the field due to each turn then just add up. It means if you increase the number of turns of the coil, so magnetic field also increases. Got it? So you can observe, you can understand it with the help of the activity given in activity 13.6. Here in activity 13.6, take a rectangular cardboard having two holes, insert a circular coil having large number of turns, throw them normal to the plane of the cardboard. Now connect the ends of the coil in series with a battery, a key and a rheostat as shown in the figure 13.9. Here the figure 13.9 shows the given demonstration. Sprinkle iron fillings uniformly on the cardboard. Now plug the key, tap the cardboard gently a few times. Note the pattern of the iron fillings that emerge on the cardboard. Here in figure 13.9, here it is perfectly described the direction, the intensity, the structure of the magnetic field around the circular wire. Now come to the next topic, that is the magnetic field due to a current in a solenoid. Here this is a very important topic, the magnetic field due to a current in a solenoid. A coil of many circular turns of insulated copper wire wrapped closely in the shape of a cylinder is called a solenoid. Here this is the definition of the solenoid. It means if you wrap the copper wire closely in the shape of a cylinder, that is solenoid. The pattern of the magnetic field lines around a current carrying solenoid is shown in figure 13.10. Here in figure 13.10 shows the current carrying solenoid. Here this is the field lines of the magnetic field through and around a current carrying solenoid. Now Compare the pattern of the field with the magnetic field around a bar magnet. That is given in figure 13.4 in the previous page. Do they look similar? You have to observe the pattern of the magnetic field produced by the bar magnet as well as the magnetic field produced by the solenoid. You have to observe the pattern of the magnetic field. What you find? Do they similar? Yes, they are similar. In fact, one end of the solenoid behaves as a magnetic north pole while the other behaves as the south pole. Here, the one end of the solenoid is north pole whereas the other end of the solenoid is south pole, like as the bar magnet. The field lines inside the solenoid are in the form of parallel straight lines. The field lines inside the solenoid. If you observe the pattern of the magnetic field inside the solenoid, so the pattern of the magnetic field lines is in a straight line. This indicates that the magnetic field is the same at all points inside the solenoid. And inside the solenoid, here this is the very important question. The magnetic field is the same at all points inside the solenoid. Got it? That is, the field is uniform inside the solenoid. It means the magnetic field is uniform in the solenoid. A strong magnetic field produced inside a solenoid can be used to magnetize a piece of magnetic material like soft iron when placed inside the coil. The magnet is so formed is called an electromagnet. It means the given current carrying solenoid behaves like a electromagnet. Got it? So, dear students, come to the questions. First question is given. Consider a circular loop of wire lying in the plane of the table. Let the current pass through the loop clockwise. Apply the right hand rule to find out the direction of the magnetic field inside and outside the loop. This is an important question and you can solve it with the help of right hand thumb rule. By using the right hand thumb rule, you can easily demonstrate the direction of the magnetic field. Got it? Second question. The magnetic field in a given region is uniform. Try a diagram to represent it. The magnetic field in a given region is uniform. Diagram to represent it. So if you want to represent the uniform magnetic field, so you can take help the magnetic field produced by the solenoid and the magnetic field produced by the bar magnet as well. Got it? Now come to the next topic. Sorry, here one more question is given. Choose the correct option. The magnetic field inside a long straight solenoid current is uniform. Got it? The magnetic field inside a long straight solenoid current. Here there is four options given. Is 0, decreases as you move towards its end, increases as you move upwards towards its end. Is the same at all points. So here the option D is correct. The magnetic field inside a long straight solenoid current is the same at all points. Now next topic. Force on a current carrying conductor in a magnetic field. Here in this topic I will discuss about the force on a current carrying conductor in a magnetic field. It means when we insert the current carrying conductor in a uniform magnetic field, then what will happen? So in this topic, we have learnt that an electric current flowing through a conductor produces a magnetic field. You well know the current carrying conductor produces magnetic field. The field so produced exerts a force on a magnet placed in the vicinity of the conductor. French scientist André Marie Ampère suggested that the magnet must also exert an equal and opposite force on the current carrying conductor. It means if we place the current carrying conductor in a magnetic field, so the conductor always experiences the force. The force due to a magnetic field acting on a current carrying conductor can be demonstrated through the following activity. Here, the activity number 13.7 describe the force acting on the current carrying conductor in a uniform magnetic field. So for demonstrate this experiment, you have to take a small aluminum rod AB, suppose that it is of length 5 cm, using two concentric wires suspended it horizontally from a stand as on the figure 13.12. It means you have to connect two wires which is suspended horizontally from a stand. Look at the figure 13.12. Now, place a strong horseshoe magnet in such a way that the rod lies between the two poles with the magnetic field directed upwards. For this, put the north pole of the magnet vertically below and the south pole vertically above the aluminum rod. Got it? So here this is the very important thing. Place a strong horseshoe magnet. Here the horseshoe magnet means of a U shape. The magnet is of the U shape, that is horseshoe magnet. In such a way that the rod lies between the two poles. It means you have to insert the strong horseshoe magnet in such a way that the rod lies between the two poles with the magnetic field directed upwards, so that the magnetic field directed upwards. For this, put the north pole of the magnet vertically below and the south pole vertically above the aluminum rod. Now connect the aluminum rod in series with a battery, a key and a rheostat. Now you have to connect the aluminum rod in series. How you will connect? In which sequence you have to connect? In series sequence with a battery, a key and a rheostat. Rheostat means that is the variable resistor. Now pass a current through the aluminum rod from end B to end A. Now you have to allow the current from end B to end A. What do you observe? It is observed that the rod is displaced towards the left. It means when you allow the current through the wire, then you can observe that the rod is displaced towards the left. You will notice that the rod gets displaced. Got it? So reverse the direction of the current flowing through the rod and observe the direction of its displacement. It now towards the right. It means if we change the direction of the current, so the displacement also, the displacement of the rod also change. Why does the rod get displaced? Why does the rod get displaced? This is the important question. The rod get displaced because the force exerted by the magnetic field on the rod. The displacement of the rod in the above activity suggests that a force is exerted on the current carrying aluminum rod when it is placed in a magnetic field. It also suggests that the direction of force is also reversed when the direction of current through the conductor is reversed. Got it? It also suggests that the direction of force is also reversed. It means when you reverse the direction of the current, then force acting on the conductor is also reversed. Now change the direction of field to vertically downwards by interchanging the two poles of the magnet. It means if you change the direction, the place of the two poles, then the direction of magnetic field also change. It is once again observed that the direction of force acting the current carrying rod gets reversed. It shows that the direction of the force on the conductor depends upon the direction of current. Got it? It shows that the direction of the force on the conductor depends upon the direction of current and the direction of the magnetic field. So the force depends on two things, direction of the current and the direction of the magnetic field. If you change the current and the direction of magnetic field, so force will also change. Experiments have shown that the displacement of the rod is largest. Yeah, the magnetic field of the force, the magnitude of the force is the highest when the direction of current is at right angles to the direction of the magnetic field. It means the displacement of the rod is largest. It means the rod gets large displacement when the direction of current is at right angles to the direction of the magnetic field. It means when the direction of magnetic field and current both are right angle to each other. In such a condition, we can use a simple rule to find the direction of the force on the conductor. So the rule is the Fleming left hand rule. In activity 13.7, got it? We considered the direction of the current and that of the magnetic field perpendicular to each other and found that the force is perpendicular to both of them. The three directions can be illustrated through the simple rule. The rule is called the Fleming left hand rule. Got it? This is a very important rule. According to this rule, stretch the thumb, forefinger and middle finger of your left hand such that they are mutually perpendicular. It means you have to stretch your thumb, forefinger and middle finger of your left hand in such a way that they are perpendicular to each other. If the first finger points in the direction of the magnetic field, suppose that if the first finger is in the direction of magnetic field and the second finger in the direction of current, then the thumb will point in the direction of the motion or you can say the force acting on the conductor. So thumb always show the direction of the motion, that is the direction of the force. And devices that use current carrying conductors and magnetic fields include electric motor. It means the device like electric motor, electric generator, loudspeakers, microphones, and measuring instruments all are the devices that use current carrying conductors and magnetic fields in it. Got it? In the next few sections, we shall study about electric motors and generator. It means in next section, I will discuss about the electric motor and generator. Got it? So here, example 13.2. An electron enters a magnetic field at right angles to it, as shown in figure 13.14. Here, figure 13.14 shows the direction of the motion of the electron, which is right angle to the magnetic field. The direction of force acting on the electron will be, you have to decide the direction of force acting on the electron. So you can decide it with the help of Fleming left hand. Got it? So the force therefore directed into the base. With the help of left hand thumb rule, you can easily observe that the force acting on electron will be directed into the base. Got it? Now here this is the question: which of the following property of a proton can change while it moves freely in a magnetic field? Which of the following property of a proton can change while it moves freely in a magnetic field? There may be more than one correct answers. Mass. Which of the following property of a proton can change while it moves freely in a magnetic field? Mass. Speed, velocity, momentum. So dear students, here mass is constant. Now speed, velocity and momentum. Look at the question. Which of the following property of a proton can change while it moves freely in a magnetic field? It means if any proton is moving in a uniform magnetic field, which of the following property of proton can change? Got it? So mass is constant. It never changes. Now velocity. Got it? If velocity gets changed, then momentum will also change. Got it? So come to the next question. Here the question number 2 and question number 3. This is the very important and very easy questions. You can easily solve with the help of the explanations as I explained in the previous space. Got it? So come to the next topic, that is the electric motor. So what is electric motor? An electric motor is a rotating device that converts electrical energy to mechanical energy. What is electric motor? It is the device which converts electrical energy to the mechanical energy. Electric motor is used as an important component in electric fans, refrigerators, mixers, washing machines, computers, MP3 players, etc. Got it? Here electric motor is used in different components like electric fans, refrigerators. You will know about the mixers, how refrigerator work, how does the fan of the refrigerator, mixers, washing machines, etc. rotated. Do you know how an electric motor works? Oh yes, you can understand it with the help of given figure and all the components which is described in the figure 13.15. An electric motor is shown in figure 13.5 consists of a rectangular coil ABCD. Here ABCD is the rectangular coil of insulated copper wire. It is made of copper wire. The coil is placed between the two poles of a magnetic field such that the arm AB and CD are perpendicular to the direction of the magnetic field. It means you have to place the a rectangular coil in such a way that the arm AB and CD are perpendicular to the direction of the magnetic field. The ends of the coil are connected to the two halves P and Q of a split ring. Got it? The inner sides of these halves are insulated and attached to an axle. The external conducting edges of P and Q touch two conducting stationary brushes X and Y respectively. Now, current in the coil ABCD enters from the source battery through conducting brush X and flows back to the battery through brush Y. Notice that the current in the arm AB of the coil flows from A to B in arm CD. Here in the figure shows that the current in the arm AB of the coil flows from A to B. It means the current is flowing like from A to B, B to C, C to D. Got it? Like clockwise direction. That is opposite to the direction of current through. Now, notice that the current in arm AB and the coil from A to B in arm CD is from C to D. That is opposite to the direction of the current through arm AB. I am applying Fleming left hand rule for the direction of force on a current carrying conductor. In a magnetic field figure, see figure 13.13, we find that force acting on arm AB pushes it downwards. It means here the direction of the current is from A to B and the direction of the magnetic field is from north to south. So if you place the left hand, the fingers of the left hand, or you can say if you will use the Fleming left hand rule, you can find the force acting on arm AB pushes, that is the direction is downward, while the force acting on arm CD pushes it upwards. Thus the coil and the axle O mounted free to turn about its axis. It means the force acting on the arm AB is in downward direction and the force acting on the arm CD is in the upward direction. You can demonstrate it, you can observe it with the help of Fleming left hand rule. Now, thus the coil and the axle O mounted free to turn about an axis rotate anticlockwise. The rotation of the coil is anticlockwise. At half rotation, Q makes contact with the brush X and P with brush Y. But initially, it is with P and Q, and after half rotation, Q makes the coil contact with brush X and P with brush Y. Therefore, the current in the coil gets reversed and flows along the path DC-BA. It means at every half cycle, the direction of the current is also reversed. A device that reverses the direction of the flow of current through a circuit is called a commutator. So here this is the question: what is commutator? So commutator is the device that reverses the direction of flow of current through a circuit. Got it? In electric motors, the split ring acts as a commutator. In electric motor, what is the commutator? The split ring is the commutator. The reversal of current also reverses the direction of force acting on the two arms. The reversal of current also reverses the direction of force acting on the two arms AB and CD. Thus, the arm of the coil that was earlier pushed down is now pushed up, and the arm CD previously pushed up is now pushed down. Therefore, the coil and the axle rotate half a turn more in the same direction. The reversing of the current is repeated at each half rotation, giving rise to the continuous rotation of the coil and to the axle. And to the axle. The commercial motors use what are the use of the commercial motor? It is used in an electromagnet in place of permanent magnet. Second, large number of turns of the conducting wires in the current carrying coil. And third, a soft iron core on which the coil is wound. Got it? The soft iron core on which the coil is wound plus the coils is called an armature. What is armature? The armature consists of the soft iron core and on which the coil is wound. That is the armature. This enhances the power of the motor. Got it? So here this is the question. State Fleming left hand rule. Got it? You can easily give the answer. What is the principle of an electric motor? What is the principle behind it? And what is the role of the split ring in an electric motor?